This is a review of the RT81 semi-automatic lifestyle turntable from the Canadian company Fluance. Price-wise, it was released at a price point of £250, and that's the same dollar price in the USA, incidentally. But I've seen it a lot cheaper more recently, somewhere around 210. I would advise you to shop around if you're looking to buy one of these particular turntables. I've seen the RT81 available in a walnut colour, very fetching that is, as well as a more standard black finish. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Fluance is a relatively new company. They've emerged on the scene in terms of budget turntables with a bit of a flourish, and there are 6 turntable models out there right now. But Fluance has been around for a little while. Before they released their turntables, they were busy producing products for a surround sound environment. Now, the RT81 is belt driven, offers 2 speeds, that's 33 1/3 and 45. It comes with a dust cover and also a solid wooden plinth, which is relatively rare at this particular price point. Suspended on 4 feet, this solid wood, well, I say solid wood, solid MDF at any rate, the solid wooden plinth is relatively heavy for a turntable in its class, somewhere around 7.1 kilograms. Compare that with, say, a Lenco 3808 at around 5.5 kilograms and a dual MTR 75 at around 4 kilograms. So the Fluance RT81 is quite substantial in comparison. And the reason I'm babbling on about the solidity of the plinth and the wooden structure and its weight is because inevitably this will add some bass presence to the final sound quality. So I was looking forward to hearing just how that was going to manifest itself. Looking straight on at the turntable itself, there's a speed selector and power switch on the near left. You've got your platter in the center made from aluminium, and then obviously you've got your turn arm on the right. The platter itself rings like a bell, so literally if you took the platter off the turntable, held it in one hand and knocked it with a knuckle, it would actually sound like a bell. Now, this is not good news for sound quality. You really want that platter to be damped. You want it to offer a dull thud, ideally, when you knock it with your knuckle or some other implement. So you really want to be looking to damp that. Now, the easiest and quickest way of dampening a platter is a platter mat. The RT81 arrives with a rubber mat, and I dislike rubber mats intensely. Why? Because they look great. They look wonderful. They look as though they can do the job, and they really can't. They're worse than useless, so I don't like them at all. Whenever I see a rubber mat on top of a turntable, I have this urge to play frisbee. So what I would do, if you grab yourself an RT81, replace it. Replace it with something like a cork mat, somewhere around £18. The Cork It from Project is a good choice. Now, I mentioned the Tonearm, which in this case is an S-shaped model with a removable head shell at the end. Underneath the head shell is an Audio-Technica 1895E. Now, this price point, an elliptical tipped cartridge, is a relative rarity. Normally you would find such entities at more expensive price points, somewhere around £350 plus, I would say. For this price point, $250, and as I said, even $210 if you shop wisely, an 1895E is a nice little extra, and I'm all for that. So lots of kudos to Fluance for including it. Now, I don't see the Fluance RT81 as a budget audiophile turntable. This is no competition for the Rega Brio-R as one example. This is definitely a lifestyle design. Now, the reason I call the RT81 a lifestyle design and not audiophile design is twofold. Firstly, the RT81 includes a built-in phono amp. Now, this can be a good thing, but it can also be a relative bad thing. It depends on your point of view, basically. On the bad side, well, including a phono amp, all those electronics in the sensitive turntable actually harms sound quality, because what you get is a whole host of vibration and high frequency noise coming from the internal phono amp, and this will affect the turntable all over, whether you're talking about the plinth and the platter and the arm and the cartridge. All of these components will be subject to bombardment of high frequency noise and vibration from the phono amp. Now you can turn off the phono amp and you can actually use an external model, and when you're able to, if you're on a low budget, which I would imagine you are if you're buying an RT81, when you're able to, I would recommend upgrading to an external model, something like a Project moving magnet phono model, which you can pick up around £65 from Amazon. That would be a good choice in this price bracket. Now there are good reasons to have a phono amp built into your turntable. Firstly, there's a less footprint if you have an external phono amplifier. The phono amplifier is going to have to go somewhere on your desk or shelving, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about cabling either, because there are no cables involved in an internal model. It's already set up and raring to go. There's also the price difference, because you are getting a phono amp for free with the RT81, well, effectively anyway. So if your budget is low, then having an internal phono amplifier not only saves you a few pounds and pennies, but also gets you up and running pretty fast as well, saves all the footprint and the complication of extra cables. Nevertheless, to upgrade sound, to increase sound quality a little bit further down the line, when you have the funds available, I recommend an external phono amplifier as an upgrade. The second reason I would call the RT81 a lifestyle turntable is because it features a semi-automatic drive action. I say semi-automatic, but this feature is more like quarter automatic. A true semi-automatic turntable will lift the tone arm from the end of the disc's play and then return it to its arm's cradle, not the RT81. The RT81 allows the stylus to reach the end of the record and then it switches off dead. Nothing else. The stylus just sits there, resting on the record, motionless. This is fine if you fall asleep during play and are snoozing in your chair. That said, don't knock the arm, or that might send it bouncing and scratching across the record surface. I must add though that there's a switch at the back of the RT81 and you can switch off this semi-automatic action. To review the RT81, I decided to run it head to head with the best sub-budget and low-cost lifestyle turntable on the market to date, the Lenco L-3808. The Lenco L-3808 is head and shoulders over much of its competition, that I've reviewed anyway. There's other sub-budget designs out there that I've yet to tackle, I must admit. For now though, the Lenco is numero uno, and thus it seems fitting to do a straight A-B between it and the Fluance. For a sub-budget turntable, the Lenco performs pretty darn well, so I thought a head-to-head between it and the Fluance was an obvious choice. There are 3 tests here that I can see. 2 of them are pretty critical. Firstly, because the default Fluance features a superior 1895E cartridge with an elliptical stylus tip, there is no point comparing the Fluance to my Lenco because it uses a lesser specification 3600 style design with a spherical tip. Hence, performing a direct A-B test will be biased to the superior cartridge. This is why I took off the 1895E from the Fluance and I replaced it with a lower spec and cheaper 3600 model. This was the same cartridge that you can find on the Lenco. So giving the cartridges a level playing field, I felt I was able to better review the actual turntables. I also used an external phono amplifier, the same phono amplifier for both turntables, again to take out that variation of who's got the best phono amplifier built into the turntables. I just wanted to review the actual turntable, not the internal phono amplifier. So basically both turntables use the same cartridge and the same phono amplifier. I started with a bit of jazz vocal, a lady called Ethel Ennis, and she sang her jazz vocal backed by a full orchestra. The album itself is called This Is Ethel Ennis. The results were quite fascinating. When compared to my Lenco reference and its nippy direct drive motor, the Fluance sounded a little warm and veiled in terms of the upper mid-range, while treble was a touch rolled off at the dynamic extremes. This is not to damn the Fluance at all. The Ennis vocal was certainly approachable and relatively smooth, while the brass section was easy on the ear, but space and air were not exactly plentiful, restricting reverb tails and the attack from a sudden trumpet outburst. The Lenco's inherent nippy transient performance meant that the piano tinkling started and stopped on the nose, while the Fluance was slightly softer in its presentation. Again, there was nothing inherently bad about the Fluance, the way it handled these upper frequencies. This area was certainly pleasant from the Fluance and easy to listen to over extended periods. What did shock me though was the bass performance. Now the Lenco uses a direct drive motor. Traditionally, direct drives are king of the hill in terms of bass performance, but not here. The Fluance was the one with the superior bass performance in this particular test. The Lenco was much lighter and the direct drive couldn't really make up for its failings in that department. The Fluance had that big bottom to push it along, so the upright bass on this track was hefty and powerful, providing a lower frequency power that was surprising in this belt-driven deck. I was reminded of some of the performance I've heard from the higher priced Thorens decks, for example. What I then did was I removed the cartridges on both turntables. I removed the 3600 models, the ones with the spherical tips, and in as replacements came AT95Es for both turntables. So I compared both turntables, both using AT95Es. Let's not forget, both of those cartridges use elliptical stylus tips. In this configuration, the comparison between the RT81 and the Lenco was much tighter in terms of raw sound quality. With an AT95E cartridge in place, the Fluance though was transformed. I want to dwell on this point for just a moment because it shows just how dependent this turntable is on its cartridge. Without the AT95E, the Fluance was comparatively dull. With it, the Fluance sounded pretty balanced and powerful. So what I'm trying to say here is that the heart of the RT81's performance, the core, is the cartridge. It's the AT95E cartridge. That's what makes this RT81 turntable tick. What the AT95E cartridge did was to extend all of the upper frequencies, pushing the dynamic reach upwards, adding air and space to cymbal taps, adding welcome reverb tails to percussive strikes, a sense of resonance to trumpet blasts, and a fragility to the tinkling piano keys. The essential difference with an AT95E cartridge in place on both turntables was that the Lenco was neutral and balanced in overall presentation, while the Fluance provided an excellent upper suite of frequencies that didn't quite reach as high as the Lenco. On the other side of the coin, the Fluance provided a bigger bottom end, more significant and meaty bass. Hence, the Lenco had the delicacy and accuracy of a ballet dancer. The Fluance felt more like an athlete, packed with strength and muscle. I did test, incidentally, the internal phono amplifier of the RT81, and it was okay. It was pretty noisy in terms of the masking of delicate detail in and around the soundstage from the RT81, but that was to be expected. If you're low on budget, if you bought yourself this turntable and you've got no cash left, it'll do you for now. It's fine, it's passable. But like I say, in the future, once you get some extra cash, upgrade to an external model and you will improve the sound quality overall. To conclude, well, the low-end lifestyle market is unique in how it performs because sound quality is important, but money equally so. Hi-fi buyers in this sector are often faced with cruel budget limits. In basic terms, the Fluance RT81 offers an imperfect plinth platter and Tonearm design glued successfully together via its AT95E cartridge. The AT95E turns a fair-sounding turntable into a pretty impressive one. As such, the performance for a low-end lifestyle design is one of the best on the market for its type. But the killer feature of the RT81 is the existence of this cartridge. An AT95E cartridge on a turntable at this price point? Very unusual indeed. So compare that with the base bulk presence given by its heavy plinth, and you've got a very intriguing, very presentable, recommended budget turntable. And that's me done for now. If you'd like to check the description below, there's a whole host of links to my blog, my website, a whole host of social media, including my own Facebook group, which you're welcome to join. Come and join us there. Also my Patreon page, which has a growing selection of exclusive content that you won't find anywhere else, I might add. Check them all out below. All the links are there. Until next time, hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.